Hi, this is Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, and I don't want to spend much time on this. I want to talk very briefly on delightarianism. Yes, I said delightarianism. It's something that I came upon as a philosophy a few years ago because, out of necessity, basically. But the bottom line is you can read all about it. You can read all about it on my blog. But the idea is that I have chosen now in my walk to be a delightarian. I came upon the idea after hearing there was such a thing as a fruitarian, because to me, how delightful. It's my favorite food. And I don't know, I just thought, the truth is that if a steak delights me, if a hot dog delights me, if a bushel full of apples delights me, or if a slice of an orange delights me, then that is what I engage in. I find little delight in alcohol anymore, and anyone who's been around me the last 6 months has seen the mess I become on very little. It has become something that I can't understand why I just really don't want to do anymore, and I sort of miss it because it used to delight me, but it doesn't anymore. So my delights change, and but I listen to them as my budget will allow. But even so, you don't have to be very well heeled to figure out a way to delight yourself. You can do it on a 12-hour shift when you got a grind to do. Pack in your little backpack things which delight you. Earl Grey tea, Jolly Ranchers, an orange, whatever you feel would be very delightful. Pack it along. Anybody who's gonna have a problem with that is somebody who it's really okay to ignore, I think. Why do you care what I put in my mouth? So, to delight oneself. Have you thought about that? What delights you? And as you sit down to your meals, do you feel delighted? Do you feel a celebration and a coming home? I would encourage you to try doing it, and to be mindful a little bit of what it is that you put into that pristine and beautiful body of yours. I don't like the idea of thinking of a loved one muscling down something they really don't like to eat because they think it's good for them. Oh, baby, don't do that. You really think that eating that salad while you hate it is going to help you lose weight? I think not. But if what delights you at the moment you believe firmly is harmful, then I think the issue is a little bit deeper than food, don't you? Could you be using the food to tell yourself something, and could you be using any illness or distress to also be talking to yourself? It can be short-circuited by realizing that we're here to be delighted. And the only one really who can delight you, in truth, is you. It doesn't mean that in bed you don't get delighted by someone else. I'm talking about food here. Food. No one, and truly, I hear myself talk and think, now wait a minute, there are people who live in homes where the food is provided for them, and they have to just somehow find a way to be delighted. And it may not be very delightful. I'm thinking of about 8 hours that I spent in a jail And in the food was, well, it made sense. It was a stale sandwich and really gross, like off-brand chips and a sugary, nasty drink, and there was no way I was gonna incorporate that place into my body. I think not. But I was so hungry. So I did the best I could. I blessed it and did the best I could, but I had so little reserves at that moment. And so I gratefully accepted the food, and I felt no delight. I felt horrible at the moment. But then I knew my body would take over and use the food to nourish me and fuel me and get me through. There are many ways that we can look at the food we ingest, and ways to realize that we're being loved by the food and by ourselves, by what we think about it. If we cooperatively engage with what is in front of us and then enjoy it because we find delight in it, well, then I think that that's a form of paradise, actually. A form of freedom and sovereignty. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. If I want to eat a bag of candy, and every single bite, feels great. Isn't it funny how I don't lose weight? I mean, I don't gain it. I really don't. I just said the word wrong. I don't gain weight. If I'm in accordance with what is going in my mouth. If I'm not, then there are problems. Oftentimes, the only problem there is that we have become not mindful and not respectful of what is in front of us, how we ingest it, and how we think about the whole process, why we do what we do. And maybe that's why I like being a delightarian, because the idea here is that I'm doing it purposefully, but for a very selfish reason, to simply delight myself, understanding fundamentally that that is nourishing in and of itself. It's the most nourishing thing, I think. And it sort of bathes the food, but more than that, from the inside out, it makes it glow a little bit. Unless it's in a jail and you're tired and hungry and you got your back against the wall. Then it's different. Then your body takes over and says, "Oh, baby, it's all right. Just eat the food." Good night.